Hi there, and welcome back to this episode of Fantasy for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and, well, we talk about fantasy-related things. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. And that's right, it's not always about physical books we talk about. It's all sorts of nerdy, geeky, fun things related to fantasy and sci-fi. Today, we'll be talking about The Boys, that show on Amazon Prime Video, which is an adaptation, but we're
Yes,
not going to talk
however,
much about the source material.
yeah, I don't think either of us have read those comics.
We have not. But we're completely current on the first 3 seasons of The Boys, so we're going to have some fun talking about it now.
It's
And if
going to
you're
be a wild time.
Yeah, if you're listening to this years later and there's multiple seasons that are out there after this, sorry, we're out of date now. But as of August of 2022, this is what we knew.
Now, let the record show up front from the start, if you haven't seen The Boys, probably don't listen to this episode. We're not going to be doing our normal spoiler light, or at least not in the same way.
We're paying no attention to spoiler issues. We're just talking about whatever we want on this one.
And in addition to that, even if you have seen The Boys, I want to throw a quick little flash warning up there. It is a rowdy, gratuitous, violent, and horrible show in many ways.
Hey, horrible show has connotations that aren't accurate.
However, there are many sensitive topics that will likely be discussed in this episode that are distasteful to many, as the show would be.
I would imagine they're not watching this episode then.
Yes, if you are unsure of what you're necessarily getting into, do a quick Google search for The Boys. Realize you haven't watched it, go watch it if you so choose, and then listen to the episode. And if you have watched the show and you're excited for this episode, me too.
And this is the kind of show, honestly, you can watch the first episode. And if you make it through and you think, yeah, that was pretty good, you're fine. You're safe the rest of the way.
Yeah. Within 5 minutes, you'll know what kind of show it is.
If the first episode turns you off on this show, don't bother. Because it's only more and more of that. But anyway, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Zach,
warnings out of the way.
How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. We're going fast and loose with this. We don't have notes in front of me, at least. And I'm okay with that because I enjoy doing some freeform sometimes. I just got done with a very fun Wheel of Time episode with you. And now we're coming into this. How are you doing, Dad?
I'm doing fine. I had a little time in between episodes to go hang out with your mom for a minute. We talked about the dog you're going to be getting soon. Now, is that the one that you test ran for a while?
We were going to be test running it this week, but we were talking with the foster mom, and we were like, we really love this dog. We're not sure we need to do a test run. And the foster mom has been back to us and been like, I think you guys would be great. It's more, sometimes I suggest it as see if it would work, all that stuff. But with y'all, I would really just be, if you want to, if you feel you need the test run, go for it. So we filled out adoption paperwork stuff. We're just going to try and adopt.
Well, because the pun is strong with me, I'll hope that doesn't come back to bite you.
Nah, things coming back to bite. Bite. I was over with a friend with Rach who has a lab puppy growing very quickly, but he was very bitey yesterday.
Okay.
Not so much that it was painful or anything, but definitely slobbered all over my sweatshirt sleeves as I let him just kind of all up my arms and stuff. And I'm like, this is fine, but man, I can't let you nibble on fingers anymore because your teeth are pointy.
All right. What are you drinking? Did you make more of the same of what you had earlier today?
Yes, I still had some Red Bull, so I added more vodka, added more Red Bull. I just needed to kind of top it off so that I could finish off what I had. Are you still drinking beer?
No, I can only do so much beer. I went to wine now. You said earlier, wine's more my thing, so I've got a nice rosé of Pinot Noir to enjoy.
Can you hold that up to the camera a little bit? Just because I'm looking at it and going, at best, that looks orange to me.
No, it's pink, but it's not pinky pink. It's a dusky pink.
It's just a very interesting colored rosé.
That's the Pinot Noir, which is a very dark wine.
Yeah.
So dark skin on those grapes makes for a darker pink for a rosé. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the boys.
Yes, let's hear it for the boys.
So first, I want to just share some facts, get some basic details about this
Sounds
show
good.
down.
Throw it out there.
As you mentioned, as we talked about, this is an adaptation. So it did originally start out as a comic book series, debuted in 2006. It dropped one volume of content, and then the publishers went, yeah, nah, and they discontinued it. But another publishing company picked it right up, and another 8 volumes came out. So it ran from 2006 to 2012, 72 issues in the entire run.
I'm curious, just because I don't know off the top of my head, did you happen to write down the publishing companies?
I didn't. I remember it was Wild Comics, Wild something. It's a division of DC Comics that originally had it and dropped it.
Okay.
And then some other company that picked it up, and I don't remember which one that was.
I was just curious. I didn't know if it would mean anything to me, but I thought I'd ask.
Okay. So that was done in 2012. Now, already back in 2008, so after just a couple of years, there was plans announced for a film based on the boys. So the reception was really, ooh, this is different. This is cool. I don't know why the one discontinued it after the first volume, but the movie talk didn't go anywhere. It was just, hey, let's do this. And no, it didn't. But then in 2015,
you said 2008, right?
Yeah, just a couple years
we go
after
far
it
enough
started.
back. That was really at the start of superhero flicks really getting their heyday. So it was a tough sell at that point.
Yeah, maybe that was it. 2015, Cinemax announced that they had the rights to it and were reworking it now as a TV series. But they didn't see it through. They ended up selling the rights or releasing the rights. I don't know the mechanics, and that's not what this show is about. But Amazon Prime Video got a hold of the rights in 2017.
Look, we're not a business podcast.
Yes.
We don't do the business part.
So they got the rights in 2017. Now, while Cinemax had been working on it, they managed to get their hooks into Eric Kripke as the showrunner, the developer, and he went with it to Amazon. Now, that's a name I recognized right away.
Yeah,
there's one Supernatural.
Supernatural's the big one,
and he's done other things too, but nothing of the level of success.
Other great things, but that's what my brain immediately goes to, especially in this sci-fi fantasy long-running television.
Totally.
sphere.
So he's got his hands all over the boys as well, and I'm sure is part of the success behind it. 2017, they actually really went into gear of, yes, this is an Amazon product and we're going to do this now. They started producing it in 2018, and the first season dropped in June of 2019. Season 2 came out in September of 2020. Season 3 finally hit in June of 2022.
There was a little pandemic, COVID.
Yeah. Also in June of 2022, it was renewed for season 4.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard
that when I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, I haven't heard that there's anything happening yet. They're probably still writing scripts or something, but on IMDb, it says 2023 release. No exact date. I'm sure that's a guess at this point. But it makes sense. In a typical year, they're going to come out with the next season the following year. The cast. It features many unknowns before this in significant roles, but they are very quickly becoming known. Okay, this show has been very popular.
A lot of these people, it's not that they hadn't done things,
but they hadn't done anything where big, wide reception
to everyone, and not necessarily hitting your or my radar in every case.
But this is one of those kind of shows where it's putting people out there on radar now. So this will be the thing they become known for, and then they'll go on and do other things. But there are exceptions, for sure.
Exactly.
One of the biggest lead stars is Carl Urban, playing Billy Butcher.
Carl Urban.
and he's all over the place these days. So he's top tier in bringing in the bucks now for some things. So he is undeniably their biggest star in this show.
Carl Urban has had a special place in my heart ever since the Aomer days.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong.
But it's also one of these shows that does slip in a number of well-known actors with pedigree into smaller roles, that they're just there for a little while. So some of the names that pop up are Elizabeth Shue, Simon Pegg, Giancarlo Esposito, freaking Billy Zane was in 3 episodes, and most notably in season 3, Jensen Ackles, all season long.
And it was great having him around. Especially, I've loved... Look, I'm not a huge fan, actually, of watching through interviews and stuff. There's a lot of good entertainment value in them, usually, but I don't really seek them out. I have loved a lot of Jensen's interviews in relation to the boys because of the relationship that he built with Eric Kripke during Supernatural.
So, you made that connection, and that's an assumption that I do not want to make with our people who are listening to this, that they know who these actors are. So you just clearly made that connection. Jensen Ackles has done a bunch of things, but he was one of the 2 co-stars of Supernatural.
Yes. Dean Winchester.
Right. But how about some of these others? I want to quiz you. I'm putting you on the spot.
Oh, I'm
name something else.
All of this.
Name something else Elizabeth Shue has been in. Do you even remember which person Elizabeth Shue was?
Honestly going to have to look to make sure I don't have the wrong person.
I mean, I'll tell you.
Season 1, so that's still well.
Yeah.
No, that one, no clue.
She's done a number of things.
My guess, before my time. That's my guess.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Back to the Future, Adventures in Babysitting. I think so.
I see Adventures in Babysitting. I don't see Back to the Future yet.
I thought she was the one in either the first or the second and third. They replaced the actress.
I see her in the second and third.
Okay, they replaced the actress who played his girlfriend in the first one with Elizabeth Shue for the second and third. Yeah.
Okay.
And a bunch of things. She's done a lot of stuff. Simon Pegg. We've got Shaun of the Dead. We've got Scotty in the new Star Trek editions. You know, he's doing lots of things. Giancarlo Esposito.
A couple of big things to me specifically that I really enjoy. And I'm going to butcher where and stuff, but he plays a lot of really good bad guys, including The Mandalorian.
Yes.
One of the most recent Far Cry games.
Okay.
And where I really first connected with him, I think, was that show Revolution.
Which is another Eric Kripke show, by the way.
He's done numerous things, but those are just some of the quick credits of going, if you need someone to be a really believable bad guy who you kind of cheer for because he's so good at being bad, pick this guy.
Where I first came upon him was Breaking Bad. And he's bad, but good.
Same sort of thing, yeah.
Bad. Yeah. And the last one to mention, of course, is Billy Zane. Now, can you name something Billy Zane's been in? Besides Winter Dragon?
Do I know things? Yes. Am I going to name it? Probably not.
I'll give you the biggest one. Titanic. He was the doofus boyfriend.
And
the rich
one
guy
who lived.
Yeah. That's
you always want him to have ended up being Propeller Guy, but he wasn't.
All right. So the show has done well. It's been both critically and fan acclaimed. And if anything, seems to be getting stronger in the ratings as the seasons go. And that's impressive. That's good for lasting power when that is the case. So as it's renewed and working on season 4, things look good for it to just keep steaming along.
I would say also, especially for popular opinion, it was timed very well with its release, whether that was intentional or just happened to work out. There was a semi-void in some of the really good things going on in original
Really?
streaming content when The Boys kind of slipped in there. And Amazon Prime specifically hadn't had a lot of big successful things recently. We think of things like The Man in the High Castle. Very good. But it had been a little while.
Which I've never watched except the first episode. I was like,
no, you definitely watched at least like the first 3 or 5. Because I watched them with you.
I didn't think I watched that many. It was okay.
It was entertaining, but it
didn't keep going.
It was something that you had to really kind of get into if you wanted to keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, The Boys. Wow. So the next thing I want to flow into is talking about our personal experiences with the series, definitely. How you found it, how you got into it. I think you watched it before I did.
Probably.
Yeah. I seen it was out there and I was like, I'm not sure that's going to be my thing. It looks a little violent, maybe a little over the top of what I really want. But when I did get around to watching it, the whole season was out. I didn't have to wait for anything for season 1.
I think I'm probably wrong about this. I thought they dropped the first season all straight.
I couldn't say because
it was like
it was all there.
They dropped 3 episodes and then episode weekly.
Maybe they did. I'd have to look that up. That's
Again,
not
I
in my
could be
Just
wrong
the Facts
in my
episode.
Memory of this. It's years ago.
So I watched season 1 when season 2 was almost coming out. So there was very little gap between finishing season 1 and watching season 2 for me, which was fun. But yeah, I'd heard about it. The advertising blitz was out there. So I'd certainly seen about it, intentionally didn't watch it for quite a while, then finally decided as I'm seeing the ads for season 2, I'm like, what the hey, I'll give it a shot. And I was hooked by the first episode. I was like, whoa. And we'll talk more about things about it, but let me hear your personal experience then.
If that's your personal experience, I definitely watched the first season before you did. Because I did wait. I watched the first season. I eventually watched the second season. And then I started the third season, and I had been mentioning it when we were recording and stuff that we'd been watching it. I had been watching it on my own some. And I got to a point where I was like, I'm enjoying this. I hate having to wait every week. It's annoying. So I was going to take a break. Rach and I moved in here, and we were looking for something to watch. She's watched these, which is surprising because she can't do violence and things. And so we watched season 3 together and binged it in like a weekend. It was great. However, to the extent, I'm not throwing her under the bus. I'm just pointing something out that makes no sense to me. 2 comparisons here. Someone gets lasered, blown up, whatever, guts all over the place. She's fine. But Huey takes a jar of whatever mustard? Who puts mustard in a jar? Smashes it against a counter and cuts his hand open, and that has her uncomfortable, and she's looking away and she can't do it.
Well, see, that's more real.
I
get that.
No, I understand, but I'm also like, so the minor injuries that are more realistic and plausible, she can't do it. She can't do any blood that way. But if it is so ridiculously grotesque, she's fine.
That's funny. Yeah. So, general strengths of the series. What do you see in this? Just toss it out.
First thing,
what's one thing
off the bat? Great acting. Across the board, especially from the main cast.
Yeah.
There is an incredible commitment to their roles that plays through beautifully. It's well written to highlight that acting as well.
Yeah. It has complex characters. There's not a lot of black and white. There's a whole lot of gray all over the place, which is normal. People are not all good, all bad. The bad people have some good motivations sometimes, and the good people, Billy Butcher, what a complex character.
And to that end, the production quality of a number of things I was just thinking the other day, actually, it has some of the best sound design in a show that I've seen in a while, which isn't something that you like usually immediately think of with shows. You're like, sound design, cool. If it's bad, you notice it, but otherwise, whatever. But I was sitting here thinking, no, there are certain bits and cues and things. It's amazing. I'm fanboying here a little bit, but
sure, we can do
it's
that.
that
We
good.
like the show. I think the dynamics they've introduced with Homelander's son has been a real depth to the show. The things that people have to struggle with, and now in season 3, the things the boy is struggling with.
Yeah.
There's that's a really again, great writing, good deep dimension to
But at the same
where this
time,
plot's going.
Screw Ryan. I'm sorry, he's a kid, but also like, man.
Okay, more strengths. The special effects are pretty spectacular. I mean, they're not sparing expense here. They're doing a lot of amazing things. I mean, right away in the first episode when he's left holding her hands, and everything else just in a spray of mist. I mean, that was pretty cool, pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You know how they did that, and you knew this was not just your average show when that happened.
It's pretty with its grossness.
Yeah, I like that. Anything else as a specific strength you want to highlight?
I think we've already kind of touched on it, but I just want to highlight it again in a different way. The casting.
Yeah.
It's not just
solid
their
across the board
acting, but even getting the right people in the right places.
Okay. Weaknesses. I'll toss one out here.
Do it.
And it's by design, but it's gratuitous, and it goes overboard. Now, it's intending to go overboard, but I'd say this could be a great show without quite the degree they take it to.
See, I enjoy it because it does something, taking it to a level of absurdity that, to a certain extent, is like,
I did not need to see a man suddenly grow big in someone's penis.
But it's just
I
like,
need that.
Okay? How ridiculous and how absurd can we make this? And so it's really enjoyable from that perspective. And specifically that scene, that's one of the interview moments that I enjoyed, because Jensen Ackles told the story of sitting in the premiere, and Eric Kripke behind him is cackling like a madman when that happens.
But that's overboard. All right, that really is. Yeah, so I'd say they're appealing to a certain crowd that's going, where are they going to take it next? This is unbelievably awesome. And I'll say it's also a minor weakness to the overall quality of the show. My opinion. Anything else? Weakness? Because I don't have a lot of weaknesses, really.
I would say going along that same extent with the violence. Again, I don't mind. I don't find it to be a weakness, but it's a taste thing. If swearing, for example, is a turnoff for you, this show is going to be a problem.
Yeah, no, anything that could possibly offend people, and if you have triggers, never watch this show. Never. Because they've found pretty much anything you can trigger and put it in here. What about characters? Do you have some favorites?
I do, but I want you to go first.
Okay. Well, I'll just put it right out there. I love Homelander. He's such a messed up, screwed up.
I need to cap.
Uber powerful.
That. Just, you love Homelander. You said it. You can't take it back.
No, I'm explaining. As a character, he's amazing. He's so uber powerful, so mentally screwed up. They really did a nice job in season 3, showing that he's even like split personality-ish. You know, he is an unstable character, and they are portraying him so well. And at any moment, he could just decide to go nuclear and destroy everyone. But his overarching need is to be loved, to be accepted. And he'll do just about anything to get that. Now, I think they're growing him to a point where he doesn't need everyone to love him. If Ryan loves him, that might be enough, kind of thing. But he's still heavily dependent on how people feel about him. They've built that character really well. I enjoy him, and he acts him really well.
Now, as I start sharing some of mine here, are you able to hop into the Discord so that people can join us live here?
So, someone is here with us?
It looks like.
Well, yeah.
Or at least we'll be able to be joining possibly shortly. My personal favorites here, we gotta love Butcher. We gotta love Butcher.
Yeah. Sure.
But, hands down, favorite character throughout the entire 3 seasons so far. I would do anything for this character, kind of character. We love Kimiko.
Aw, Kimiko.
She deserves so much better. And she does so much for her friends, for the people that she cares about. She is the good person, which is weird because throughout so much, especially early on, Huey's built up to be the good one and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, the one who's doing the crazy violence killing for the good guys, that's our good one. That's our pure of heart.
Kimiko's something special. Yeah, I completely agree with that. And what about Frenchie?
Frenchie's okay.
Right there hand in hand with her. I love that dynamic between the two of them.
And that's the thing. I love Frenchie more for his dynamics than I do for him. I'm like, Frenchie's okay. Okay, I want to hit you up about something here because I looked it up because I was curious and I didn't know. First off, right? Do you know what it stands for?
No.
Okay, because that's the first question.
I might have before, but it's not clicking anymore.
Because I learned while looking it up, it's never said in the show.
Oh, really?
However, in the credits, like in IMDb, and if you have the subtitles on, it does say. It stands for Mother's Milk.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that on IMDb. That rings a bell now. Yes.
Do you know why?
No.
Because in the comics, has super abilities and stuff, but they're through a weird way. He does not get V, but rather gets Compound V
through his mother's milk.
Through the mother's milk, literally his mom, and is an adult man who drinks breast milk to gain superpowers at times. And I went,
disturbing.
I'm okay that they didn't go with that one. I don't.
That's just disturbing.
Nickname, yes. But they don't call him Mother's Milk, so that they don't have to explain that.
All right. Let's talk about most mind-blowing moments in the series so far.
Does that include when the mines are actually blown up?
That would include that. You like how that went, huh? She just take them out.
There's been a lot of head popping that has been significant.
One of them we talked about earlier. I'm not going to bring that up again.
No.
Get it? Head popping.
Yeah. But I would say mind-blowing in relation to that was end of season 2, the realization that Nadia was the head popper.
Yeah. They had hidden that well. Let's see. Other moments. I mean, obviously the opening scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, that was pretty significant. The death of the whale was a
Yeah,
pretty
how many of these mind-blowing moments are going to be deaths?
most of them probably.
I think through some of my favorite things, and this one's not necessarily, it wasn't like mind-blowing, but it just had Rach and I going, oh, that's messed up. That's really good, but that's messed up. This last season, A-Train getting Blue Hawk's heart.
Oh, yeah, that's messed up.
It was like, what? That's messed up.
Yeah.
But that's so good.
Stormfront. When she first, the reveal that she's really a Nazi, basically.
Yeah, Nazis are bad.
But then when she gets taken out, although we learn in season 3, not entirely taken out, but
Yeah.
that, whoa, that was a moment.
Can we talk about Carl Urban being Billy Butcher and his inability to say C's unless it's at the start of a word?
I hadn't noticed this. What?
He can say cunts all he wants. He calls everybody
I can't say that word. I
all
can't
the
even hear
time.
that word, dude.
I know you can't say it. You heard it so many times in that show, though.
I know.
It's not a
that's
common
his
word in my
favorite word
vernacular,
in this character.
but it is the most common way that he refers to people. That being said, he can't say Becca to save his life. If you listen, every single time, Becca, Becca, Becca.
Oh, that's his accent. There it is.
It's good, but it's like, dude, say a C. Say a C.
So Carrie's with us in the Discord now. Hey, welcome.
Good to see you. Glad it's working, hopefully, and you can hear /see us.
She's typing, so that's a good sign. Yep. All right. We gave you a shout out as a Patreon supporter in our last episode. So since you're here, we'll say it again. Thanks. There you go.
Now we can actually see you and prove it's working.
Yes, absolutely. Other mind-blowing moments. Man,
Yes.
it's just been so good. You know, what about when Homelander does go ahead and deal with season 1, what's her name? Elizabeth
Stillwell.
Shue's character. What?
Stillwell.
Yeah, when just right through. Yeah,
That
was a moment.
It wasn't like that big of a thing to me. It was just kind of like, we've dealt with this person that I found more annoying than evil, which is weird to say because we've got a number of people that's like, no, these are bad people doing bad things often.
Mm-hmm.
To have someone that I only found annoying is weird.
Okay, now her replacement. Were you shocked at all by the wig reveal late in season 3?
No.
I mean, they certainly were showing
we
her
were
having
seeing
hair
it
pulling
over
issues, but
and over.
then it's a
and
full
over.
wig at that point. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Do you
Especially
feel
when we think of
sympathetic for that character at all?
yes, not in a way of like I connect and I feel for you. No, but you're in a horrible trapped situation. You are an awful human for survival. You're not a horrible human.
Yeah,
you have to be because
now,
you're normal and non-normal people are dying around you.
Talking about trapped situations. Starlight.
Yeah.
She spends much of season 1 trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, trapped in a different way. Season 3, trapped in a new way, and then breaking free.
Honestly, in the weirdest way, we got a wonderful soldier boy to thank for breaking free finally.
And what a great character, Soldier Boy. Man. Again, we haven't read the source materials, so I think a lot of this stuff is being drawn straight out of the comics, but Wow, that guy. Yeah, and he's just going around taking out anyone connected and wow.
I don't like him necessarily, but he's
No, but
interesting. I don't know.
and
He got to
then
a bad start with me. He hurt my friend Kimiko. It was a bad start.
well, and then we need to talk about a little bit about Black Noir.
Yes.
So
This is a
he's
very interesting
apparently
character that I wish we had had more, but he's dead now.
he's gone now, but apparently one of the original superheroes
Yeah, he's old.
that somehow it must be part of his superpower that he doesn't age, and we've seen that before.
There are a number. Stormfront had it. Soldier Boy has it. Homelander presumably has it.
Yep.
Seemingly, it looks like maybe Black Noir as well. It also may just be Black Noir, even as he aged, was still capable. We didn't see Under often enough.
But we also understand from something that happened earlier, Black Noir isn't entirely there.
No, he's messed up, and we saw how much messed up. We saw the result of it.
Yeah.
And we more or less saw how he got messed up eventually, too.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
Yeah.
I want to draw a parallel here.
Okay.
So, Soldier Boy, right? We see Huey at one point try to pick up his shield. And that thing's heavy. Huey can't do it.
Right.
I want to throw a parallel here to another common superhero thing that even started going a little bit darker, but is not going to this extent, will never go to this extent. Marvel. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We saw a new Captain America who went too far, who then became Super Soldier, who then lost the mantle, made his own shield. The shield that he made out of just like scrap metal and stuff is a lot more similar to, I think, Soldier Boy's shield.
Very much so. Yes.
And it's like, this is not a mythical metal or something. No, this is just brutal.
Yeah.
This is not Captain America has vibranium and it bounces and it hurts people. No, this kills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something they don't talk a lot about in this show, they probably should talk more about. It is a subtext, but they still don't talk much about it, is collateral damage. There's a lot of collateral damage going on. It's more of a plot in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of turns into, well, we're going to try to police them a little bit. But there's still a ton of collateral damage going on.
It does come up in a couple of ways in the third season again. Most notably between the Bureau kind of trying to rein some of that in. Supposedly, it was kind of more upfront. But, the overt casualties were down like 50%. It was hugely successful on paper.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of this being with Blue Hawk and communities of color, and especially as we're seeing in like that Harlem area, A-Train kind of addresses some of that, but not as he should. Like, he's trying, but he's also... A-Train's a hard one for me, because...
His temporary costume is like, dude, what were you thinking? How can you possibly try to represent and offend people more?
Can we talk about the Pepsi commercial? Because that's what it was.
Do we need to talk about the Pepsi
That's what
commercial?
It was! No, but A-Train's always one for me that since 5 minutes into the first show, it's like he's the definition of civilian casualties. He didn't care. He didn't know.
So self-centered.
Yeah.
Everything what he's driven for has been about himself.
And I don't think at any point in the show will I ever reach a point where I'm like, you've been redeemed. You're a good guy now. You're on the side of good. This sort of stuff. No. That being said, I'm super down for more redemption arc kind of stuff, so long as it doesn't go to the extent of trying to tell me he's now a good guy. It's like, right. No, he's better, and he's learned that he was bad. That doesn't make him
really
good.
Was forced to take a closer look at himself, his choices, when what happened to his brother. That's a real wake-up call for him.
No. But
still,
between
his
that
brother put
and
him in
heart
his spot,
condition
you know.
and him now having a new heart, I'm curious to see, does he continue the progress? Does he go back to being worse?
Yeah. Now, that's one thing I'll say the show has done well. I mean, it brought in cultural relevance there big time. It went to the matter of police and Black communities and stuff we have documentation for, and it didn't shy away from it. Now
No,
it's
it
putting
doesn't
it
shy
into the
away from
superhero
anything.
context and saying there's a problem here, and it made it very real. Now, and it pulled it right into its story, and it all had its own things to do. But yeah, it doesn't shy away from things, and yet it doesn't do it in a way that, you know, is just horribly wrong either. I mean,
it's a weird thing where it's not necessarily handling a lot of serious issues with like caution and respect. There's not restraint, but there is a respect to handle them as honestly as they can, how they would apply in this super situation.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting to see and gives a very valid setting to talk about these issues.
Yep.
In a new light.
So I'm glad you could enjoy this show with Rachel. This is one I am not introducing your mother to.
For a lot of the reason that I was surprised I was able to watch it with Rachel.
Totally. How many seasons do you think we'll get out of this show?
Minimum 5.
Amazon likes a lot of these streaming shows, like with their popular series, to go for 8.
I don't know.
I don't know if it has that many in it.
I don't know exactly what we will or won't see. But there's definitely a 4th. And I feel like we've got confirmed 4th, can get renewed easily. And if it aimed to try and wrap some stories, by 5th. Now, that being said, if they choose to start introducing new things that are wanting to be developed and gone further in 4th and 5th, it could go further. But minimum, I think we see 5.
Well, let's address just a little bit here. You know, what are some of those questions, those dangling storylines that need to be played out that are already there? Obviously, we've got Homelander and his son, and where is that going to resolve? I mean, there's a big, what's going to happen?
And let's pull a step further off the sun for a moment, just to Homelander in general. Homelander to the public, Homelander in Vought, Homelander in regards to the boys. Where Homelander sits and his perception of being hero, villain, what he actually is, and how much that is shown to the public, and how it resolves, Homelander in and of itself is kind of an issue.
Yeah.
Has been since day one. And it will continue to be until show is potentially done.
Then we've got Butcher. What's his end game? His brain, is it jelly now? It looked like it was like, it's just a ticking time bomb now. It's a matter of time. Or is that reversible?
I have thoughts.
Yeah.
Will
he go full soup and that'll solve it?
I think much of season 4, and I could be totally wrong here, but I think much of season 4, we will see a continuing deteriorating Butcher, and play with his mind getting even worse, and that being juxtaposed with Homelander and his increased like levels of insanity kind of stuff, and we see those parallels. And near the end of season 4, the rest of the boys having to kind of make a decision. And when I say the boys, I don't mean boys, I mean the boys. Annie and Kimiko, they're part of the boys. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, I actually understood what you meant, but
I figured you did, but I just needed to throw that out there.
I'm not the only one listening to you. We hope.
No, I really like the plot line that sends it to, they am pretty sure still have another dose of permanent V. I think they got 2 doses. They spent one on giving Kimiko back her powers. I think they still have one. And having to choose between, do we make Butcher a soup, save his life, but also take the risk of what that means, or do we let him die?
Yeah, possible. Another thing that needs to be played out, Kimiko and Frenchie, Are they going to just stay friends? That's where they're angling it right now.
Is it?
Or, yeah, that's kind of where they're at, I think. They started to go the one direction, but then maybe pulled back, I think, a little. No?
I think Kimiko is as clear as she can be, showing more. And it's not that they pulled back. It's more
because
that
they were going to go off, do their own thing, have their relationship, and that's not happened
more,
now.
In my opinion, that they showed that there is more to their relationship than just being friends or just being a relationship, but there is something deeper there.
But we do want boom chicka chicka boom boom, right? I mean, we don't need to see it, but we want that to happen. We want them to be a thing. Right off into the sunset.
Regardless of how that goes about, I want the both of them to be happy and be happy in relation to each other. The specifics of that, I'm okay with it being non-traditional and non-normal. I don't think anything that we would, in our brains, immediately go, that's what a relationship looks like, would fit really either of them.
She will break him now.
Could break him.
Most likely would,
yes,
by
we've
accident.
seen it with Pop Claw, but like just because we've seen it doesn't mean it would happen.
Other things, we still have the senator. She's like gonna be VP now.
Yeah, she was announced as
VP candidate.
Another Kripke poll. The presidential candidate there, that's also a supernatural actor.
Which one is the presidential candidate now? Oh, no, Bobby. Yeah, totally. Yeah. No, I'd seen that right away. That's right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. They still called him Bob Singer in that too, right?
In
Supernatural? The Boys.
Oh, in The Boys?
Yeah.
I don't know what he's called in The Boys.
I think so. I think he's Senator Singer.
Oh man, that's funny.
No, it gets better.
But it's named after a show writer, isn't it?
Producer.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And that's where the thing. Bobby's character in Supernatural was named after a producer, and I don't think it's the actor. I don't think it's the same guy. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. But I think it kept the same name.
That's funny. All right. Well, getting clear that we can wrap this up here. Are there any final burning questions you have? If you want to know, what are they going to do? Where is this going? Is there anything else we haven't talked about? Is Homelander going to die eventually?
Gosh, I hope so.
If he does, I mean, that's got to be the series finale. There's no The Boys without Homelander. You don't finish him off, and now let's move on to a new plot. No, it's Homelander's show.
No, I think in many ways, The Boys needs Homelander. It needs Butcher. Both of those are needed for the show to be as successful as it is. But at the same time, I don't see a satisfying end that gets rid of one but not the other.
They go down together. Interesting.
And if they don't actually go down together, some level of one being forever changed in a way that is equivalent.
They merge.
No, that's just getting weird. Then again, it's The Boys.
Show
anything
like that.
I
mean, come on, they could.
Now, I could see a penultimate season where Butcher defeats Homelander but supplants him as the final season villain.
Interesting. Then they have to take down Butcher. Then they get the vice president to pop his head.
Well, hopefully she gets taken out before then, but we'll see.
She's an odd character. I mean, now we know there's more backstory there.
It's
the guy in charge of Vought was the one who actually was finagling her in the first place. And
yeah, but she also just straight up went, no, super people are better than people and subjected her daughter to super treatment, and I'm not a fan of that.
Did it to her herself. Yeah. Refresh my mind. The guy who was in charge of Vought, is he
Edgar.
still around or is he dead?
He's not dead.
He's just out of the picture at the moment, right?
He's in jail, theoretically, at least arrested and being arraigned and stuff like that. I don't know if the trial ended. We might see trial stuff.
I think he'll be back then.
He was arrested and brought up on charges.
That's right.
But he's not dead.
Because they were exposed. Yeah. Okay. I think that's a good spot to stop.
Oh, yeah. We could talk about this more, and I'm sure give it another year or two. When the next season drops, we'll probably come back and continue this conversation.
So thanks for being with us. If you've enjoyed hearing us yak about the boys, put your comments down there in the YouTube comment section, or hit us up on Discord, Twitter, wherever. We love to interact with anybody who's enjoying our content and has ideas. You do not have to agree with us, especially not Zach, because I don't agree with him sometimes, and that's just
fine. Don't agree with me sometimes either. It's fine.
What's most important is hearing from you. We love that.
Absolutely.
Let us know what you like, and let us know what you don't want more of, and we'll see what we can do. Anything you want to share before we run the outro, Zach?
I just want to see the outro. I admittedly, I don't think I can move enough, especially while I've got things there and I'm attached here. But there's instruments back there. I still need to get on giving us new music. One of these days.
Hey, but I paid for this music, I paid the rights
great
for this.
Music. But at the same time, we could have our own music. It could be ours.
You get around to creating something that's at or above this level, we'll swap it out. You betcha.
So give me a year to get the motivation around to doing that, and we'll see.
And still, we've got to upgrade the pictures. Again, New Orleans, vacation time together in November. We've got to get some photo shoots.
I'm looking forward to recording at least one thing in person again.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you next time, everyone.